What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. On this installment on the Veloster, I'm going to continue working on the dash. I've already been doing a little bit of work on it, and once I get the dash completed, I'm going to mount it into the vehicle, finish fitting the center console to the lower portion of the dash, get that completely finished. When I get that completely finished and I get it painted, then I'll bolt it into the car and show you guys what the final product looks like. That will be the end of this video, is when the dash is completely finished. So if it takes me 2 weeks to finish it, it takes me 2 weeks to finish it. I'm gonna get this freaking dash done, and I'm not gonna post this video until the dash is completely finished. So next time you see the completed dash, it'll be inside that car. All right, everybody, as you can see, I've started drilling my holes through the top of the dashboard. So I'm gonna stop right now, and I'm actually gonna fill in these couple holes that I've already done. And this is also why I wanted to do it, was to see what was gonna separate, what wasn't. So I'm I'll fill in that little patch right there. I'll cut off this right here that's starting to bubble up, but I'm gonna fill in all these holes all along this edge, and then all along this edge. That's the width of the vent. And then after I get those filled in, then I'll start drilling all my holes up here and filling them in. And same over here, I'll start drilling all these out and filling them in. And then down through here and here, and down through here, and all through here. And once I get that done, and I get all those holes filled in, then I'll do my top coats. I'll do my 3 layers on top of the mesh, and then I'll do 2 layers on the inside. And then everything will be done on the upper part of the dash, and then I just got to work on this lower section of the dash, but I'm going to mount it into the car to get the form for the bottom part of this. Once I get the form for it, then I'll take it back out, finish doing my fiberglass, put it back in the car, and make sure everything fits the way that it needs to fit, and then I'll be good to go. All right, everybody, I'm getting ready to start laying down my top layers on here. Unfortunately, the sheet is not long enough to go all the way to the edge. So what I'm gonna wind up doing is I'm gonna do 1 sheet here, 1 sheet here, 1 sheet here, 1 sheet here. I'll wind up doing 4 sheets instead of 3. All right, guys, so I've got 2 decent layers on top of here right now. Everything feels pretty smooth. It's really freaking solid, but I'm gonna do 2 more layers up on top. And now they're not full layers because, like I said earlier in the video, they don't go all the way to full length. So I've actually bought an extra thing of fabric, and I'm gonna put a little patch here and down there for each side to make it a full panel. Because the center's already pretty thick, so I'm not super worried. I'm not real worried about it being freaking super stout. But I'm still gonna continue doing it the way that I'm doing it. I'm just gonna add that extra piece to make it extra rigid on the sides. So, but I've been using these little disposable brushes to do all my fiberglass work. And I bought a box of them of like 20 for, I can't even remember, like $5 or something. They were cheap. And I've only got 1 left. I thought I had 2 when I went and bought this fabric because I ran out of fabric. So I went and bought 5 more packs of fabric, and I didn't pick up any more brushes. So I'm gonna have to try and do this pretty quick so that the brush doesn't get ruined before I have a chance to do both layers on the top, because I wanna do both layers on top tonight. Then I'll let it sit all day tomorrow, and then I'll trim out the top and get the top completely freaking trimmed and get it buttoned up, and then I'll flip it over and I'll do the bottom. I'll do 2 layers on the bottom and let it sit for the next day, and then I'll trim it after that. And then I'll paint the entire top half of the dash, and then I'll take it out to the car and start fitting the center console. All right, everybody, it is the next day. I've let this cure overnight. So I've got 4 layers on, well, yeah, I've got 4 sheets on the top. So it's 4 layers in the dead center, 3 layers on that side, 3 layers on this side. And it's actually probably like 6 or 7 in the center. But, I'm not worried about overdoing it. I'm more concerned about underdoing it. So, like I say, I've got probably 6 or 7 sheets in the center, 3 over here, and 3 over here. So it should be good. I'm gonna go ahead and trim all of this off, all the excess off of here, and start giving this its final shape. Getting this cleaned up, getting this cleaned back up, and getting everything to where it fits back in here. And then after I make sure everything fits, again, may have to do little pieces of patchwork in here in tight corners where my little Dremel won't get. Same over here, I may have to do a little bit of, it depends on how I can get this to cut out. But we'll see how it goes, but that's what I'm gonna work on. All right, guys, I just got done sanding and priming this thing. I gotta sand it a bunch more times, but I wanted to sand it and use some filler primer so that I can build up the low areas. I've sanded it once, I'm gonna sand it again, reprimer it, sand it again, reprimer it. I'll probably sand it about 7 or 8 times before I get the final coat of primer on it. And then I'll put 3 or 4 layers of primer on it before after I finish doing all the sanding, I'll do 3 or 4 additional layers of primer, let it set up and cure, then I'll sand it one final time, and then I'll put the top coat on it. All right, so I've done my first layer of primer and sanding the dashboard down, and I don't want to get too carried away with it until I get the bottom of it done. So I'm actually going to go ahead and take this and put it in the car, and I'm going to fit this and the center console together so that I can get all this molded right and get it done so that I can do the whole dash in one shot. And then when I get it in there, I'll also figure out how I'm going to redo this panel, because the switch for the Genesis is different than the one for the Veloster. So I may have to fill this in and then cut a new hole for it. But I need to try and leave it so that I can do the fuse panel cover. I still got to figure out how I'm going to mount the fuse panel and whatnot, but I need to get this fitting in the car before I go too crazy with it and get it completely finished. All right, so I got the dashboard in there. It actually looks pretty good from back here. I wanted to see how it fit with the doors and everything, and it looks like it's fitting pretty good. Get my thumb out of the way. So it looks like it's lining up pretty good, and it fits with the windshield really nice. So I'm gonna go put the centerpiece in. So that piece right there, I'm gonna put that in, and I'm gonna put the cluster in. That way I can see what I need to do with the steering wheel. And then I'm gonna mount the center console in here and figure out what I need to do for the lower half. And just like I thought, I had made this a little too low, so the center console won't go all the way back. This side won't go all the way back because it's hitting over here. So I need to trim right there. You can see the center console's not going far enough forward, and the back's sitting up. So I got to trim that to get the center console to fit in there. Once I get the center console to fit in there, then I'll actually make a template with cardboard to figure out this slope right here and to fill in this end piece right here. And then once I get the cardboard laid out, I'll tape it to the back of it, and then I'll lay fiberglass over top of it. Overall, I think this thing's going to turn out really nice. So you can see the back of the console sitting up a little bit. But yeah, once I get that front end trimmed, the center console should drop down and move forward a little bit. And then I can mount all my center stuff in here, shifter and all that. And as long as all that stuff looks good, and then I mount the steering column, I'll basically start doing my finish work on the dash. All right, everybody, I was able to get the center console to actually go up where it belongs. I've got those bolt holes lined up. Those are lined up. This is all going forward. I might need to adjust it a little bit, but it's pretty close to where it belongs. But I was looking through all my parts downstairs, and these sail panels go right here for the back of the dashboard. So I think I might use these original panels and trim that fiberglass, because I had to bend. This shit just doesn't want to stick very well because I don't have it double sealed. I don't have it sealed on the back. So I still need to seal it through to get it to stick, but I'm thinking about trimming it anyway to get this to fit. And then I've got another one for the other side so I can make it fit. So let me go around to the other side of the car. So that I can trim this side and have that one go in like that, basically. And then that gets rid of a good portion of the fiberglassing that I got to do down here. Gets rid of all that. So I think that's the route that I'm going to take. But I'm going to continue working on the bottom of the dashboard. That'll probably be my next update, will be when I get the bottom of the dashboard completed and I get everything up here completely finished, get the vents mounted in here, get my holes drilled for my vents up here and for in the center, because I haven't discussed what I'm going to do to open those back up. But what I'm planning on doing is just drilling a bunch of like 1/8 inch holes all through where that vent was. I'll just drill a bunch of holes. I'm not going to make vent slats anymore. I'm just going to have like 1/8 inch holes all through there. And the same thing with the vent that was up here along the back side of the windshield. I'm just going to drill a bunch of holes in there, and that'll be my vent to blow air on the windshield. But I'm going to go ahead and close this out where it is. Next video will be me finishing the bottom side of the dash and getting all the center pieces fitting the way that I want them to, getting the steering column completely mounted in here because I've already test fit it and it fits great. Unfortunately, I cannot find the piece that goes from here to here, so that's why none of this is finished, because I need to get that piece so that I can figure out where my opening is and get this squared away. So once I find that piece that covers up all of this right here, it goes up against the bottom of the instrument cluster. But once I find that piece, then I'll be able to finish this section right here and get the steering column done. So that's what's going to be done in the next video. So I really hope that y'all are enjoying the progress that I'm making on this car. This is a lot more work than I had originally anticipated, especially the dashboard. I knew that it was going to be a lot of work, but as far as doing the dashboard, I did not anticipate it being this much work, and I'm still nowhere near done on it. I've gotten a lot of work done to it, but I still have a long way to go on the dashboard. So I'm going to try and get the complete rough done on the entire dashboard, center console, and all that. That way I can pull it out, pull the engine and transmission and subframe back out of the car, and that way I can finish up the firewall, finish up all my grinding and welding that I needed to do to the car to get the front end swap completely done. So that's my main objective, is going to be to get all that finished, get the wiring harness mounted in there permanently, get the engine mounted in there permanently. That way I can start mounting the brake boost. Well, the brake booster is already mounted, or it will be. It was in there. I had to take it back out. But that way I can get the brakes mounted in there with the ABS controller and all that. I can get everything in there mounted, squared away, ready to go. And then once I get that done, I can put the wiring for the dashboard in and then stop right there. And then I can start working on the rear of the car, doing the rear end swap, getting the gas tank in there and getting the rear wiring in there and all that. And that's when things will really start taking off, is when I start doing the rear end swap. But I want to get the front completely finished before I start tearing the rear axle out of this car. So I needed it mobile before because the possibility of selling the house. I'm not really worried about that, but I do like the ability to roll it around if I need to. So that's why that's the main reason why I don't want to tear it apart until I get the front completely finished. So that's the route that I'm going to take. So hopefully you guys will continue following along on this journey. It is going to take longer than I had originally anticipated, but I think the end result is still going to be something absolutely amazing, and I'm going to love it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the ride too. So like always, if you enjoyed what you saw in this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, let your friends see what I'm doing, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one.